Bear Element, Episode 6, recorded 11 July, 2012.
We're here.
Ta-da!
We're live. We're ready to go.
Episode 6.
006,
Oh,
ladies
thank
and
heaven.
gentlemen.
It's 7-Eleven.
Welcome back, everyone.
Ladies.
Hey, free Slurpee today. If you didn't get your free
that's
Slurpee,
right,
it's not
that's
too
right.
late.
Free Slurpee.
It is free.
7-Eleven. Today's date, 7-Eleven, free
Yay.
Slurpee.
7-Eleven.
I'm going to give me a free Slurpee.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
So,
we have a special guest here today.
very
Well, this
special
is Vito.
guest.
Let's introduce ourselves first.
This is Clay.
And this is Tim.
And our special guest is Scarlett.
Scarlett. Say hi, Scarlett.
Scarlett
I'm
the
sorry.
dog.
Say hi, Scarlett.
I'm sorry, Ben.
Okay, go lay down. There you go. Go get that.
I wasn't sure how I was supposed to react to that.
That's our other special guest.
Yeah.
Our
Ladies and
even more
gentlemen,
special guest.
Ben Holder.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
The illustrious.
It's lovely to be here.
Yeah.
So I don't know if our listeners know anything about you. We're going to put a lot of stuff on the website.
Oh,
and links and things.
fantastic.
But we want to know who's Ben.
What makes him tick?
Who's
Yes.
Ben?
And actually, why don't you, Clay, you want to do a little background how you met Ben?
Well, sure. I met Ben when I came up to San Francisco for Pride 2 years ago to meet my now partner, Bill. And we were actually going to meet at the Ejector show at Pride on Sunday.
True.
And Bill is a friend of Ricky's and Ben's from Ejector. And that's been back when it was just Ricky and Ben. And we ended up meeting earlier, and we actually did get to see the show. But while we were there at Pride, we ran into Ricky, and I was with my friend Frank. Well, small world. Frank's partner Thomas was Ricky's first boyfriend. Ta-da-da! Yeah, so that's how I know him.
Very small world.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good Pride. That was a good time. I tried to be a little, I downplayed the personality moment. Didn't want to scare you. I knew Bill was scoping you out and, didn't want you to run away because, you'll see me on Thanksgiving, so.
Yeah, when you look at
He
the
was very kind.
When you look at the Ejector website and you see the pictures, Ben can be quite intense.
Is that the word they're using? Intense?
Intense. Well, but you're multi-talented. You sing.
I do. My family, performing has been in my family for years.
Are you a gypsy?
Yes. Only when you throw coins. So we kind of all grew up just, my nieces and nephews and cousins, all of us playing together, and my aunts and uncles encouraged it. And family time around the holidays, there was always a skit every family had to perform. So
Funny.
looking back on it, it's not shocking. If you knew my family, it's not shocking. But
Which part? That you're a performer now or that you're gay?
yes.
All the above.
Yes.
Yes.
Los Angeles was great growing up there and living in it because the commerce, the industry is entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And living there, it's just part of the city. And, I was never wowed by it, but enjoyed working in it because it's, language I knew and things that were interesting to me. And then moving up here in 2003, it's an artist playground. Everyone up here is talented, has done something elsewhere, maybe has a career already or had one or is moving towards one. But everyone seems to be able to share their talents here and do something they don't normally get to do. And that often creates moments where I may not ever get an option to be in that type of situation or a show or at a specific venue and get to experience what, is open to you here. And San Francisco is such a rich playground of artists. It every day, it blows my mind. I mean, every weekend, DJ a show, go dancing on a dance floor, waiting in line for a bathroom. You have the strangest conversations. You're like, wait a minute, you're Shaka Khan's niece? When do you get to hear that? And it's pretty amazing. So even just walking around.
Did you get because I saw you in a performance of Boy George's
Taboo.
What was that, Clay? Taboo?
Taboo, yes.
And when you mentioned, Ben, about being a kid,
Mm-hmm.
because you were dressed up
Mm-hmm.
in drag, right? Now, what's the correct way to say it?
Can you call Boy George's look drag?
No,
80s goth,
specific
80s
to
music.
Boy George,
Well, he
for
did
sure.
go full drag, like with the kimono when he came back from Japan as a geisha. You know, I mean, at
Yeah.
times he did, but in general,
Yeah, well, it was interesting when we were talking about doing the show, and my friend Patrick Riley is putting it together, and he's a big fan of the show. And even though I like musical theater, I'm not exposed to it and well versed. I knew about it, but in sitting down talking about it and all the drag that I have done, it was the approach to Boy George isn't this over the top glitter sequin, high eyebrows. When you have to put his look together in his face, that he's Boy George versus his cohort at the time, Marilyn, who was very plucked eyebrows, very fey, very feminine edge, very gender bend. And Boy George, I was shocked, trying to put the makeup on. You can't put too much on. He didn't do too much. He had moments with like the geisha, but that was something specific for a single.
Exactly.
It was a promotional segment, but for the most part, a hat and just very, very powdered foundation, and maybe touching up the eyebrows. But I wanted more. I mean, how big can my lashes
Well, that's
be?
what I was alluding to. So as a kid, you had to do, or you didn't have to. You did performances and shows.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of in your blood.
Yes. Yeah, and to me, just grabbing friends and painting up a face, and it's Halloween. Everyone starts there, really. But,
so speaking of painting on a face, what's your full-on drag persona?
that is Visa Decline.
Oh, I hate
love
when that happens.
That's awesome.
Yes, but my motto is "You're never rejected, always approved." And I have to say to the people out there that do use my name, which that's fine, just make sure it's keep it respectful. Don't drag the name through the gutter. Yeah. Yeah. So
But can't you see the stars from the gutter?
I can.
Yeah.
I
Boy
can.
George reference. Taboo.
okay.
Yeah. Oh, and a little note on that. The thing that we saw was kind of a workshop for just a night of the songs of Taboo. It wasn't full-on
Right.
musical theater.
Correct.
It was just singing.
Was it like a test to see if
Yeah. That was their
go
first.
full on, right?
That was their
Yeah.
first audience participation.
Yeah,
really fun.
It's you. The way Patrick wants to present it is more of a cabaret style and not necessarily the theater style. And I think that format originally in London worked because of the environment it was in. It was a smaller, low ceiling, and I didn't get a chance, and I don't really remember a lot of the hoopla between it, the big funding for Broadway and Rosie putting money into it. But seeing stuff online, it looks great and everything, but have you ever been in a situation where you see like a movie or a band do a set or a play, and you kind of think to yourself, I would have done that differently? And that's kind of what Patrick's doing. And as we all sat down together and talked about it, it just seemed really natural. It's got lip sync songs in it. It has live songs in it. And it's just kind of a drag format as opposed to a Broadway format. So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And,
I'll go see it.
Yeah, it was really great because I've actually seen Taboo in London.
Oh, wow.
And unfortunately, Boy George wasn't performing that night. It was one of his stand-ins, but it was an amazing experience. And I have to say that after seeing that in London, and it was years ago, and getting the soundtrack and just memorizing all the songs and loving them, I was a little worried to see a different interpretation of these songs that are sort of ingrained in my head. I've played the CD so many times, and now it's on my iPod. It's like, but wait, it's sometimes you get something where you just love it so much, you don't want to see it change. You guys did an amazing job. It was really fun.
Thank you. It's exciting because you take someone like Boy George and Culture Club songs, and then you, for me, trying to sing those live, we've all sang them at home into the radio a million times. But when you actually have to do the darn song, you'll be amazed. I could not remember the lyrics to save my life. Do you really want to hurt me? How many times have people sung that song and I couldn't remember the lyrics? It was so embarrassing.
Speaking of that, I'm sorry, Clay. Speaking of that, how do you remember songs when you sing? I don't know how performers do it, like American Idol, and it's like, oh my God, she forgot the words. You have to have an amazing memory.
To me, it's the emotion of the song and remembering how the tone feels in my head and the emotion that I'm trying to project. So you start the song, and it's basically a story. So you go through the full physical experience of what that song is and the lyrics that you're trying to tell, the choruses, and then the breaks. And that's, a whole physical interpretation of it. Often, too, during rehearsals, I'm one of those people that I'm terrified of a script for a play. Terrified, because that's a lot of words, and I'm not great at memorizing, but until it gets to blocking for me, an inflection or a gesture, the arm goes up, I remember that.
You associate it with the words.
I do. And that's finally when everything sticks. And then there's those moments that you get a heckler in the audience, or
that drunk fucked up bitch.
Yes,
she was a mess.
Oh, bless her heart.
When you told the story about your family, I could just see it was like you had the drunken aunt. You're like, okay, sit down, Aunt Shelda. That's okay. This girl, she just wandered up right in the middle of everything, and she was belligerent, and
she
on
was
people's
wasted.
Tables and on the floor, and
that's when I said I love San Francisco.
Mm-hmm. But it's moments like that when you have it down, and you kind of you think you've nailed it, and then you get this girl that stands up right in the middle of your performance. Fortunately she did, because I couldn't remember some words. So of course I get to turn around, and improv's one of my favorite things. I absolutely love it. In high school and speech and debate, humorous interpretation and dramatic interpretation to me were my strengths. Mm-hmm. And even doing Ejector stuff, you never can anticipate a show. And when something like that happens, a sound situation happens, or this girl gets up, you've got to be in it, like run with it. What are you going to do with this moment? You could stop and completely choke, or you're going to make her part of the floor show in the act. You have options, and bring them into it. And it's, I find those moments to be fun. They make the challenge, the moment real. They make it a challenge. It helps you grow.
Well, speaking of acts, aren't you doing something with acts these days for your profession?
I was. That changed as of about 3 weeks ago. Well, kind of.
Well, I was referring to your new 3 weeks.
The new.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, some dear friends of mine have a club here in San Francisco called Beatbox, and it's just past the first-year anniversary, and I've now stepped into the booking manager role, and it's been exciting because I get to take all the things that I've done and all the experiences that I've had, and now incorporate that. And there's moments when I think sometimes we don't pat ourselves on the back and I know that, I'm confident in that, and good for me. But it's moments like these, being able to help other friends in these moments and easily just help them out and give them some advice and maybe a different perspective on a situation that they're finding difficult, and then get the same in return when the show is finally there. It coming from Live Nation before this, Bill Graham has such a deeply rooted history in music here in San Francisco, and just the most random people have come forward and have told me about the history of Beatbox and how it used to be a Bill Graham house, and even owners of different clubs down the street.
You mean just the physical location?
Yes. And, the Fillmore, Warfield, and just learning more and more and more about my passion, my world of music, learning more about history. And
real
it's
quickly,
exciting.
What did you do for Live Nation before?
I was a merchandise manager. I worked with management and the artists to put their merchandise up on their websites. Create the specials, and basically everything you see in the merch booth.
We'll talk about a small world, and we'll be moving on a little bit, but just something that just popped into my head. You're talking about Bill Graham. We have this precocious 7-year-old that lives next door to us. She calls the two guys who live upstairs the boys. How are the boys doing? And she's really hip. She knows all the gay neighbors and everything. And the other day, just out of the clear blue sky, she's like talking to me, and she's like, my grandmother died in a helicopter accident. She was married to Bill Graham.
What?
Right?
Whoa.
So Bill Graham's wife, who died with him in the helicopter accident, her granddaughter lives next door to me. Wow. And then Ben Holder is a dear friend of my boyfriend Bill. Bill Graham, Bill. I mean,
whoa.
Yeah.
You just blew my mind.
I know.
Well, see, but that's how I feel
Life
San Francisco is. Everyone's like 1 degree away or 2 degrees away, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Really
That's
is.
cool.
You have to appreciate those moments.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
That was Wolfie, the voice of Wolfie. We rarely hear it.
Yes, I'm trying to get a little bit more in.
Woohoo! Welcome.
Yeah.
Well, we have a little tradition that we started when we bring guests in for the full hour. We let them pick our first topic. So, Ben, introduce our first topic.
I believe our first topic is, what is a Kiki?
Let's have a Kiki.
Ben, we forgot
Yes.
to say, are boxers or briefs for you,
Oh,
mister?
wow. I like this topic. Boxer briefs. But I'm a briefs fan, but it all depends on what you're wearing.
Ah, right.
I mean, some days nothing is appropriate. Commando.
Commando.
And
It's
then,
most days.
yes.
Most days.
And then, the material, what the boxer or brief is made of.
What's easier to tuck with?
Oh, well, definitely briefs.
Okay.
But it depends on the brief again. I mean, unless you want to pull the it's no briefs. Definitely briefs.
Oh, do you tuck a lot?
No. Usually, like for drag, if you're tucking, I mean, you just put on like 3 layers of pantyhose, and there's nothing going to show, and everything flattens out, and it's fine.
Oh, okay. When I hear the tucking, I always think like they have to put like tape on your dick and your balls and pull it up.
Ow.
No, not on the actual dick.
Well, that is one method. That's kind of old school, though. It's kind of like the drags that used to put tape on their face and then pull it back. And then they end up looking like Shar-Pays, 5 years later because they stretch their face. It's one preferred method, and I had these 3 Polynesian girls over at Marlena's one day show me actually how to do it. And it was like this gang of 3 of them. They just spun me around and just pulled my pants down and did it for me. I was like,
Oh my god!
and they're like, slapped me on the ass. They said, now put your pantyhose on. There you go. I was like, man.
You go, girl.
Wow.
It's the most fierce tuck I ever had. But would I do it again? I'm not sure. Visa's not a tucking kind of
The costume
girl.
called for it, probably.
Yeah.
Well, that's a whole kind of another topic in a way, because drag in San Francisco is very different. The Kiki came out of New York, and that's really full-on kind of traditional drag.
Yes, well, and Kiki is not to be confused with Kai Kai. And Kai Kai is when 2 drag sisters sleep together.
Oh,
Ah.
is that kind of like the base of it?
Well, that's what I've heard for years.
What a Kiki is?
Like two of your drag friends start making out at a bar because they're boozy. It's like, oh, girl, no Kai Kai. No Kai Kai, girl.
So what's Kiki then?
Kiki is a party. It's a party for calming all your nerves.
And
And
It's
it's,
going around. It's
the Scissor Sisters have a song, Let's Have a Kiki.
Yes.
It starts off, girl, she's a bitch tonight.
And by bitch, I mean this rain. Yeah, it's, after parties have kind of in the past 2 years have come back. And it reminds me of the house parties that used to happen in the 80s.
I hope
Up
you're
to
up,
the
because we
90s.
are all coming over.
Yeah, we fire up that smoke machine and grab your heels.
I am so losing my gay card right now.
Oh no!
That's okay. You can buy
It's very catchy.
you can buy it back on
You
eBay.
go,
Don't worry about it,
Let's have a Kiki. It's
Let's have a
like,
Kiki.
It automatically means like
motherfucker.
a spontaneous party.
Mhm.
It just kind of works.
Yeah. In the storyline of the song is they get all dressed up, they go to this club, and the cops have shut it down. So they're like, we're all dressed up, there's nowhere to go, it's raining.
Johnny Five-O.
We're coming over to your house, and we're going to have a Kiki.
We are all coming over. And I have
Sounds
had
so
that phone call many a time. And our Kikis are, lovely lady moments in the man cave. That's what we call it.
There you go.
But
Oh, man cave.
Yeah.
that's the thing. You can have a man
don't-
cave and be into drag in San Francisco, because you got drag queens with full-on facial hair. They just paint
Yes.
over it.
I can't hear the term man cave without thinking of fisting. Sorry.
Thanks.
Wow. What is going on
Wow.
in your world?
I don't see that on the topic list, Tim.
Anyway.
But we'll
Tim,
add it
thanks
to
for
it for
sharing.
future. Tim wants to talk about fisting and man caves. Okay.
This isn't.
It's
I'm
on our
gonna
topic
throw
list.
Scarlett a treat.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, Scarlett.
you ready?
Get up. Stay.
You ready? Stay.
Catch it.
Catch it.
Oh, right in the face.
There's a video of Scarlett on the website. But
Yeah, she's a good girl. She'll come over to the microphone in the second half. Well,
Okay.
all right.
Does Scarlett sing on command?
Oh yes,
Nice.
yeah, she's a good girl.
Ooh.
Except she's not on her towel. Get on your towel. Ay ay ay. Well, any other questions or comments about Kiki's?
No. I
Okay.
think could have talked to Ben about many more things, but that's okay. We'll have links to the website, and like I said.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. Speaking
Maybe
of
you can sneak in a little stories about yourself in the rest of the topic.
Absolutely. You bet.
Speaking of websites, since everything on the internet has to be true, right?
Oh my God!
Isn't
yes.
it?
Was it the Daily Current? What did they have an article about, Tim?
They had this article about Rick Santorum being caught by a reporter, apparently. The article was saying that he got a phone call on his iPhone and was having a hard time figuring out how to answer it. And in the time he was trying to figure out how to answer it, reporter saw that he had Grindr on his home screen. And what the article said, his response was, "Oh, that's for finding the nearest coffee shop."
Of course it is.
Of course it is.
So, but the whole thing, if you're not
yeah.
the first time I read it, not really realizing the website that it was on, I'm like, because it wasn't. They said, the reporter said, "Hey, is that Grindr America's #1 gay dating app?" I'm like, who the hell talks like that?
Right.
So I was kind of suspect anyway, and then I kept reading it, and I was like, what is this website this is on? So I check it out. I mean, it's a parody site. It's similar to The Onion.
Yeah,
Well, we'll talk like that if we get, sponsors.
So the scandal.
Right.
Anyway, of course, I just immediately started sharing it and laughing about it, and then people are like, "Vito, you do know this is
Right.
satirical website, right?" Oh yeah, of course I do.
Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
The Onion?
Well, you've had an
Yes.
iPhone since day one, and you know that once it's ringing, you don't see your home screen. So
Right.
you're not going to see icons while someone's getting a phone call.
I was going to say the scandal was he likes Twinkie boys.
Yeah, it wasn't that he had Grindr. It's like, who's on Grindr?
That just hurts. I don't even
He
want to
actually
think
uses
about
it.
that.
Oh my gosh.
I was on Grindr for like 5 seconds. It was like,
Well, that was before there was Scruff and Growler and
Yeah, it's
everything.
Scruff and Growler.
I would like to say that I like all those sites. I like the people that run them. They're very nice people. I do not have any of those apps on my phone. Who has the time? And if you're on that darn thing in a bar or a club and I see your face down on that, you're not talking to me. Go home,
Well, I love
find a
what
trick and go home. Huh?
Sandra Bernhardt said. She goes, "Really? You need an app to tell you there's a hot guy 15 feet from you?"
Thank you. Thank you. And it takes a New York diva to point that out. Blows my mind. I mean, I'm not knocking it. If any of you have it on your phones, I mean, have at
Well,
it.
actually, I met my partner on Scruff, so I can't. It's hard for me to knock it.
I met Bill
Yeah,
on,
exactly.
on Bear 411, which isn't quite as, appy, but it's...
And I met the guy that I'm dating on Growler.
I'm lonely. I've met no one on those
Might be an
sites.
indicator for you.
No. I'm perfectly fine with being single, and I'm perfectly fine not having slept with everyone in this town and other towns and the town over. I'm okay with that.
Let's not even go into other states.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
Let's not even go into other states.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's got a little brindle puppy at home to sleep with. Bean.
I do. Bean is the best
Bean
puppy in the
she's
world.
so cute. We'll get some pictures of Beans up.
Yeah.
Bean
yeah,
pictures.
Yeah.
Send me a picture of her.
Yeah, she's like a rescue and a American boxer and English boxer mix.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and just sweet as pie, not
Sounds
a liquor.
adorable.
She's so cute.
And she is literally shaped like a bean.
Bean.
She's a bean with tail and legs.
She's got a little waggy nubbins. She's got a cut stubby, and it just wags its little nubbins. She's the cutest thing in the world.
I met her camping when I went on a camping trip with Bill. Yeah, to Bean. She's
Yeah,
a
we call her
cutie.
Wiener. It's our little Wiener.
Well, what other satirical sites do people hang out on? Someone was saying Christwire?
That's my favorite.
Oh,
That's my favorite. Whoever writes for Christwire, please send me an email.
The Christwire
It's
Negotiator?
brilliant.
yes, that website is fucking amazing.
Christwire
I can't believe they get
Negotiator.
so many people so wound up, and it's because the writing's really good. It's believable.
Right. It's believable enough because you know that there's a bunch of really fucking crazy people out there that actually think that way.
Yes.
And you're reading it like, oh my God. But it's so hilarious. It's really well done.
Yeah.
And but the scary part is, like I said, there's people that actually think like that out there.
Yeah.
Was it
Betty Bowers.
Betty Bowers?
Oh,
Yeah. So close to Jesus, we take separate vacations. Yeah, she's a hoot and a holler. Well, like The Onion, they had a thing about, they posted something on Facebook about an abortion complex where they're, like 24-hour abortions all day or whatever, and some rabid conservative Christian, politician, picked that up on his Facebook, until finally someone's like, that you're quoting The Onion.
Yeah. Whoops.
About
Well, they'll
that.
quote anybody.
Well, how many of us still get emails forward from like our parents or something? The roaches from Taco Bell burger or burrito hatched in someone's face, and you have to pass them the Snopes.
Right.
It's
Link.
my aunt is
Yeah.
new to Facebook, so
Luckily, I don't get those from my family.
and emails, so I get the emails.
Fortunate.
Too.
Yeah, I've
Like at the
tried
beginning of the internet,
Uh-huh.
everybody used to do the emails,
the chain emails.
the silly things.
Yeah, chain mails were banned from our mailboxes, physical post office mails. So should the chain emails. Can we please stop the
You know what
insanity, people?
Bugs me just as much as the chain emails. The postings that people do on Facebook, like, basically saying, well, you're an asshole if you don't repost it.
Right.
Is the feeling
Right.
that is the sentiment behind it. Everybody's too much of a pussy to repost this.
Chain
Only
mail.
6% of the people will be brave enough to repost it. Like, really?
But if
Really?
you don't do it, 5 fairies are gonna,
Are we off topic? But
Oh, sorry.
A little
I hate
bit,
it on
but whatever.
Facebook where they go, you have to, if you're actually reading my post, make a comment, and that way I'll know that you're actually. And I
Right.
purposely don't leave a comment on it.
Exactly,
Always tempted to
yeah,
type
there.
Z, 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 Z,
Yeah,
Z,
really.
Z.
I usually hit delete friend. Does that make me bad?
Or you can just hide. Or you can just hide them.
Did you
and they
make a
don't know.
post of just crickets chirping?
Chirp, chirp, chirp. Well, I'm actually. I don't think Facebook is far off topic because all these things end up on Facebook. That's what's really, really cool about social media is that just wildfire things that show up. So
Oh, well, I like we're talking, I think people really take some responsibility for it and don't just, it's like spreading a rumor in a bar or school. Just because you hear something, don't turn around and go, oh my God, did you hear? It's the same thing with social media, and it amazes me how some people aren't really catching that and learning that.
Yeah.
And I thought, a week on Facebook, just seeing how the threads would post and seeing how one of the conversations happening on a friend's wall and someone jumps in and makes a comment, you could just read how it kills it. And that kind of helps us all learn, oh, well, maybe that's not the right thing to
I don't
say.
really see that much anymore.
No, I think that people, it's kind of grown, it's
Yeah.
developed, but every once in a while you see it, and you're like, oh, someone's new on Facebook. Bless her heart.
well, my favorite is someone will post a joke on Facebook and then some killjoy will be like, well, there are puppies left in the back seats of cars in France that are dying. This is serious. I'm like, fuck off. Okay, it's not even your page. Mon Dieu, go back to France, eh?
Get on the page.
Son of a.
Bonjour.
Anywho, peace in. Love out.
Wow, that was a moment.
Yes.
Moving on.
Any other satirical websites
I
anyone
don't know. I
wants to
think you pretty much
discuss?
nailed it. That Christwire one's a real gem.
Christwire Negotiator. They really have to go with that. I mean, yeah.
Maybe they could get William Shatner to do their commercials.
Yeah, he's not doing the other
Oh,
ones.
I can
wait.
see George Takei doing it.
The Priceline negotiator died.
He's dead.
Haven't seen the commercial? He died in that horrible
Bus
plane
accident.
crash, and now they have to have the medium channeling him. Didn't you see? It's a thing. It's a total thing.
You don't watch. Well, Vito doesn't have cable right now, so.
I just got cable again.
Oh, good for you. Welcome back.
I caught up on all of my True Bloods.
So
and
that's... Sorry, go ahead, True Blood.
I don't pay attention to Wolfie when he puts that up.
I don't know what that
It's
is.
the guide for us to
He
see.
ignores the
There's 1
time.
minute left, 5 minutes left.
Oh, got it.
Just
Okay.
don't let it throw you off.
Interpretive dance. I don't know what's going on.
Since we're not a video podcast yet, our poor Ben, every time he keeps seeing this movement over his shoulder, he looks over his shoulder and Wolfie's just holding up a little whiteboard that says 3, 2, 1, just counting down how much time we have
Well,
for
I
the
don't even
segment.
think he realized that it was that sequential. I think it was
No.
just sort of like, getting rated by an Olympic judge.
It's very Vanna White. No, I did think that he was rating our topics or like how well we landed a joke. He's like, yeah.
We got a 10, finally. After all the 5s, 4s, and 3s, we finally got a 10.
Yes, what Wolfie's doing over
yes.
there.
I was thinking, crap, that joke didn't suck that bad. And so you were talking about True Blood? To bring it
So I'm
back.
catching up on True Blood. I caught up on True Blood. Now I'm catching up on Game of Thrones.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I can't invest in that. I've tried.
Which one?
Game of Thrones.
Oh.
I know a lot of people like it. I tried.
Does it have nudity like Spartacus?
Oh, God,
Well,
yes.
it's not like Rome. HBO's Rome was incredible.
Yes,
Nakedness,
there's lots
sex, penis, everything.
Wow.
even some gay sex.
Well, I think that our musical guest has a song that he's gonna let us use for our little break. So we'll introduce that, and I'm sure it has something to do with penises and sex and nudity, right?
I did the vocals for a cover tune for Matt Consola for his label Swishcraft.
Oh, cool.
And the track is an 80s cover of a song called Feels Like Heaven.
Ah.
And the track's been out, and there's about 14 remixes on it, and it runs the gambit. And Matt's intent with all the singles that first came out on Swishcraft are, just positive cover tunes that are just happy, and then be able to take friends and remixers and present full remix packages of the tracks. But there's an anniversary edition coming out, actually more of a best of, if you will, but all the remixes, the singles that have come out, they're having one mix redone from each one of them, and I've heard the mix and it's excellent. It's not the one that we'll be playing next, but the mix that we'll be playing next is done by a local duo, SpekrFreks. And love Edwin and Brian. Big shout out to them.
Oh, okay.
Alrighty.
So I think everyone will enjoy it. It's a little loud, rowdy electro.
Well, cool. Well, we're going to go to break, and you'll be hearing it while we'll be hearing it.
Cool deal. Wow, great song, Ben.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, Ben.
Awesome.
And we'll have a link to the whole song on the website.
It's very Axl Rosy.
You mentioned something about there's just real quick. There's a formula.
Oh,
Mixes?
yeah. I didn't really know this until I started DJing some more in the past 2 years up here. But when you have a remix, if it's properly set up, you have your intro and outro. And the intro and outros are loosely structured with up to your first minute mark are the beats, and then between the minute mark and 2 minute mark, that's usually when they start to build up the melody line. Melody line should come in, or the first chorus around the 2 minute mark, and then you have the same 2 minutes on the back end where it kind of breaks down. So when you lap your next track over, you've got some layers to play with, and yeah, it's fun science. It's there's a whole world to it, completely aside from writing a regular track, and it's fascinating. So it's been great to work on these projects. We did the original track and sent it out, and to hear all the interpretations that came back, because pretty much half of them just of the remixers request the vocals, the affected vocal tracks in layers, and they do their own thing. Like SpekrFreks brought in this great bass line. I love that little. It sounds like a live '80s bass, and so I love that.
Let's hear you say heaven again.
Heaven.
Wait, do that again, Clay.
Let's hear you say heaven again.
Heaven.
'Cause there are a lot of bear guys that are really into music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not much more than myself. I try to learn, but it's not. A lot of people, it's a really big focus for them.
Mm-hmm. It's a fun world, and there's so many. It's just like being in theater or different aspects of business. It's fun. There's a lot to learn, and it's always evolving. And technology today, I just did I played a night over at Daddy Saddle at Truck here in the city. Daniel Leone and Sister Tuna put that on, but we brought in vinyls. They had one turntable and a laptop or iPod, and I brought in all my old 45s and my vinyls from Trenier to Debbie Deb to Shaka Khan, Thompson Twins, Duran Duran.
Thompson Twins, I love them.
Yeah, we had a blast, and it picking up the vinyl and putting it back down again, and then like kind of spinning it and cleaning it, and then the 45, being able to put your fingers through the middle of that and flip it over and look at your tracks or different mixes. I loved that. I'm an analog guy, yeah, and there's no better sound than that. But the technology is helping music evolve and the way it gets shared.
Well, I'm going to put you on the spot. How many grooves are in a record?
A lot.
Nope, just one.
Oh,
One continuous one.
it's It was right there, wasn't
Wow.
it? It was right there.
We're informative.
Well, it's actually 2 if you have an A and a B side. But
Oh,
Ooh.
Vito and Tim will be here all week. Tip your waiter. Well, Vito.
Oh, but before we go anymore, after the break, let's reintroduce ourselves.
Oh.
This is Tim.
Hi, Tim.
this is Vito.
This is Clay.
This is Ben.
This is Wolf.
All right. Well, Vito may not focus on music, but he does focus on something else. What's our next topic, Vito?
Well, I don't know where this is going to go. But, I commute to work on the bus. It's a short commute.
You know what? I've been raising my own mic, not yours.
There you
Yeah.
go.
This is Vito. I commute to work on the bus. I get to go past Union Square. It's really awesome to live in the city. And you sit down, if I'm able to get a seat, and it just so happens that it's perfect that crotches are right in your face.
Ta-da!
And you get these
I hate
guys,
that.
and they're in their slacks for work, and they have their little bulges sitting out there, and it's just like, and I have my bag, and it's like, I have to keep my bag, because if I move my bag slightly, it's going to rub against their package. It's like, and then you're up close to them. Sometimes you're face to face. I mean, Ben, do you use public transportation at all?
I do indeed. And that's what iPhones are for. So those little cameras on the iPhones are for. It starts snapping away.
I will say I love a portly guy in a suit, but maybe that's just me.
Oh yeah.
I think
Portly.
it's sexy.
Definitely.
Chubba lubba.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how those seats are just that perfect height.
Yeah.
And it's an eye show. I mean, I if someone's looking good and they're sporting something, front or back, stare, applause.
Yeah,
good
what a-
for you,
a
and
good
thank you for
A
featuring.
good badonkadonk right there in the morning. It's like, hello.
I had a guy like totally hit on me. We're sitting next to each other in the bus, and he's just on a Friday night, and he was drunk, and he was just like totally put his hand on my leg and everything. And I saw him at the 440
Nice.
on another night.
That is neighborly.
Did he remember you?
I don't know.
I think that's just good manners. It's being nice. It's polite.
So-
hey, you're hot. Let me fill you up.
So you're sitting there, everybody's crotch is in your face, and somebody's flies open. Do you say anything?
No, but you know what does happen to me a lot is I'll see somebody in the financial district that's cute, and I can't help it. I look, and then my eyes go down to their crotch, and then they'll check their zipper.
Hot. You totally got caught.
Busted like a tin roof.
I
That's
won't
rusty.
say anything.
I totally do. I'm like, I think you should know this. Your fly's open.
XYZ.
Oh, right, that's right. I forgot about that.
Barn doors
Just
open.
had me flash on a story. I was in 8th grade. I failed English and had to go to summer school.
Me fail
So-
English? That impossible.
Well, that's a whole nother story. But anyway, so actually, I got an A in summer school, by the way.
Yay.
Congratulations.
But the school that I had to go to was pretty far from my house. And so I ended up having to take the bus home. This is in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And I'd always sleep on the bus on the way home because it was about a 45-minute bus ride. I'd sleep towards the back. And there was one section like by one of the malls that we'd do a stop at where I started to realize that there was this guy that would sit, because I'd be towards the back, and he would sit in the back row of the bus. And the way I was laying down on the seat, he would sit directly so he could look up my shorts.
Hot.
But, and here I am. I'm in 8th grade, and this guy's
Oh,
probably
okay,
in like
right.
his 40s or something like that. And after a while, I realized when he got off the bus, he'd run his hand up my leg, like just like
What?
great, like caressing my shin or whatever like that. And after a while, I was like, "Holy fuck!"
Was this a
is
public
gross.
transportation bus or like
Yes.
a school bus?
This is public transportation.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking your bus driver was dirty.
No, this is public
Tim, how many
transport.
times did this happen before you realized that something was amiss?
3 or 4 at that age. I mean, I already knew I was gay, so there was something about it that was sort of, titillating. But it's like,
Right.
okay, but he's gross,
Right.
Dirty.
you
Yeah.
know. But I mean, looking back, if something would happen to that nowadays, and I would have said something about it, holy shit! I mean, stuff that would have hit the fan.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a weird thing. Too many people trying to walk into the street to get to sue someone to get free money. It's like, yeah, my priest did that to me when I was a kid. I'm like, really? Now at like 65, you're coming forward?
Right.
Well, to be complete.
Oh, I guess I'll know when I get there, right?
Yes. It's a journey.
My friend Thomas says, I was an altar boy for how many years and nobody hit on me?
I thought the same thing. I'm like, did I suck? Like, was I an ugly kid or something? Why wasn't,
Priests in my parish are lame.
I know.
And I grew up Mormon, too, so a lot of those old repressed men, Not one. Not one.
Not a one. My mom has asked me a couple times.
I love...
You sure no one touched you when you were a kid?
I thought your mom was like, can I feel you up?
Well, this is slightly off topic, but since you brought up Mormons, I tell you one thing: in the military, when I was stationed in Turkey, in the middle of nowhere, those Mormon boys were fun. Years of repression do something for a man.
Oh yeah.
Put them out in a third world country where they have no accountability, and woohoo!
Sex, maybe. Relationship might be something else.
Relationship?
Yeah.
What?
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
All right. Well,
No offense, Ben. Love you. Mean it.
Hey, none taken. None at all. I was the last in line. I had my electroshock therapy. Demons out. Demons out. I'm good.
Wow.
I'm good. Available. I like them older. Suits are good.
Hot.
Well, we just had Pride here in San Francisco not too long ago, and there's other Pride festivals going on across the country. So,
'tis the season.
anybody have anything prideful to share?
Well, this was my first Pride living in San Francisco. This is Vito. I went on Sunday after the parade. I had forgotten. Oh my God, there were so many people. You could barely move. And I went in the park and met you, Clay, and Scarlett, and we barely had any room around us at all. There were no trash cans.
Honey, you were sitting right behind a dumpster.
I know, but everywhere, there was trash everywhere.
Oh,
Well,
God.
There were plenty of trash cans
And then I just read an
dumpsters,
article-
but people just dropped it everywhere.
Well,
No, there were no trash cans. I couldn't find any trash can.
actually, the beer booth or the margarita booth that we had to call them about, a couple hours into serving. It's like, hey, we have no trash cans at our booth.
I don't think anybody had any trash cans.
And also, because in San Francisco now, the downtown at Civic Center, it's Saturday and Sunday. It's not just Sunday, the day of the parade.
Mm-hmm.
And the cleaning crew that was contracted to come in and do the cleaning Saturday evening after the festival didn't do it. So
They got
we got there
drunk.
Sunday morning, and the streets were fucking covered. It was insane.
And there was
Yikes.
piles, literally not 6 foot, maybe 4 to 5 foot piles of trash.
Well, wherever you saw a pile, there was a trash can under that pile. Okay, so there were plenty of trash cans. They were just full, that's all.
Oh, okay. And then I also read an article about Dolores Park after the 4th of July.
It was a nightmare.
It was
complete
trashed.
nightmare.
Yeah.
I stayed out of Pride. I completely did not even go that direction. Didn't head over even close to Market. I played a private party the night before for Pink Saturday up by Dolores Park.
Uh-huh.
And, we wrapped that up around 5. But, so I was sleeping. But, I went down to the Lone Star, but stayed out of the whole area. I think it's the first year I've done that. I haven't been down to the Civic Center.
And that party that he played was amazing.
Yes.
It was Pink Saturday, and Bill's like, yeah, after you get off work at the HRC, escape the madness of Pink Saturday in the Castro and come over to my friend's house. It's real quiet and low-key and everything.
Ha.
And then I get there, and then all of a sudden, Ben's MC, doing the DJ, and then a live band comes on, and another live band comes on. It was
Sounds like a Kiki.
It was totally a Kiki.
It was.
And Ben played Let's Have a Kiki, and
Yes,
everybody
I
went
did.
crazy. Yeah!
Yes, and I would like to mention that Ricky and Scott of Ejector have a side project. It's called Darling Gunzel, and they played for the first time that night. They did a quiet private show, and amazing.
Yeah.
And their new singer, Jessie, she's just fantastic and cutest thing. Just sassy. So little shout out to the boys and Jessie.
Woohoo! Yeah, that was so fun. Just seeing them, their world premiere. Ta-da.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then, who doesn't love a backyard full of, partying lesbians that are just cool?
Oh, wow.
Can't beat that. That's a good time. That and a 12-pack of Pabst. Yeah, we were set up. And then my friend Trevor Sigler came in and DJ'd as well. So kind of held down the backyard for our friends. And they do it every Pink Saturday. I think next year, it got pretty big this year. We had to kick some people out of the house. It was awkward and strange. But if you're here next year, let me know.
Okay.
Here I am advertising.
Planning on it, I think.
Who knows?
Who
which
knows?
way the wind blows.
I did a stint 4 or 5 years in San Diego. We'll see what happens in San Francisco.
There you go. Well, any other comments or prideful, pridey?
Don't try to use your cell phone at Civic Center on Pride.
Yeah.
Oh
Louder.
my God!
Do not try to use your cell phone.
I don't get that. I worked for a company in Santa Monica, and we had a cell tower on our roof. And this company was one of the first in the U.S. to create ringtones for the phones. And it interfered with a lot of our programmers. And I learned at that time, being the office manager, that the cell signals are amped, and they have control over that during traffic times. And that's when we would have problems with the computers. So they have control over wattage and how much and how many people are out there trying to use the towers. They can up that. So why haven't they clued into the fact that bring mobile towers? It's the Civic Center area. You have 400,000 people in that area, and you can't.
What I've heard, I don't know if there's any truth to it. This is Tim, by the way. That there's only one tower that actually has line of sight to Civic Center.
Does not make sense to me. You're AT&T? Yeah. Or Verizon or whoever's trying to use that tower. I mean, probably everyone's fighting for it, but
there's not a lot of sense. There's not a lot of sense. In San Diego, we had spots where I knew exactly where I would lose my calls.
But isn't this the kind of thing where in somewhere back east there's a convention like a Macworld, and they made some homeless people paid them to be hotspots? There's like controversy about
Yes,
that.
No.
Mobile hotspots.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
I'm all
They
for
have
it.
t-shirts.
A mobile hotspot?
Yeah.
They had T-shirts like, "Hi, I'm Patrick. I'm a mobile hotspot."
Yeah.
You know, and
I think it's brilliant.
yeah,
Oh my god!
Absolutely brilliant.
and people were just outraged. And the homeless people were like, "I'm getting paid.
Yeah, for real.
This is fine by me." You know,
And if they're getting paid to do that,
and they're giving me a cell phone.
Can you
to
put
be
that on a
hotspot.
resume after?
that'd be
Sure.
great.
Mobile hotspot.
I
I'm a
was mobile
seasonal mobile hotspot. Where are you? Find me at a bar.
I think that's awesome.
Speaking of, is there such thing as a gay accent? And what is doing gay stuff? This is our
Girl.
next topic.
Well, I suggested the gay stuff because I heard it somewhere, and then I was just thinking just how silly it is, because there really is no gay stuff. It's like, okay, I'm going to feed the dog. Okay, I'm doing gay stuff because I'm gay. You know, it's like, okay, so what are you going to do today? I'm going to do gay stuff.
Gay stuff.
I'm going to do
Or
gay stuff today.
You can gaily feed the dog.
I guess,
That's right.
I guess
Gay
taking
agenda.
it up the butt is
Right.
gay stuff too. That's not normal stuff. That's gay stuff.
That's totally normal. What are you talking about? Isn't it?
but
Well, is shopping for lube and gold lame, is that gay stuff?
that's gay stuff.
That's
for sure
awesome,
gay
is
stuff.
what that is.
That's gay stuff.
Kiki.
Throw some rhinestones in there.
But just the ridiculousness is that, you know, that we're special. That the things that we do are just indicative to us. It's like, no.
Well, I mean, if you want coffee, you go to a Bear Bucks. That's pretty gay, right? So that's gay.
Is it, or is it just hot?
Right.
Or is it just smart choice?
Well, I mentioned my friend Thomas earlier. He and I both worked at the Pottery Barn in Santa Barbara. And one of our best stories from that is the day that this customer called in, and she's like, "Oh, I was working with a guy back in the design studio." And she's like, the person's like, "Well, there's two guys that work back there, you know, can you describe him?" She's like, "Well, he had an accent." An accent? What kind of accent? A gay one. Oh, you mean Thomas? So,
Well, what is it? Like elongated S's? It's hard to identify.
That's
are you leaking?
Infamous lisp.
The lisp.
Really a lisp?
I would
More
call
of
it a
like
lisp.
what's the word?
I've met some very, very butch straight men that have a slight lisp, and then you meet a Spaniard straight man, but he
Fee.
sounds as gay as they come. You know, he's got the the
My name is
TH
Juan
and the-
Carlos, and I live in España.
Yeah. So I mean, but it's interesting to bring that up and point out. Is it a lisp that makes you gay?
What kind of soup do you like? We have
it's
gazpacho.
sucking cock that makes you gay. But
Right. No. For sake of this argument,
But I mean, you have to admit there are like some people. As soon as they open their mouth, you know they're gay.
Well, the stereotypes
Thankfully.
exist for a reason. You know, I mean,
True, they're based on something.
well, I mean, you know, we learned this from Avenue Q. Everyone's a little bit racist.
Yes, it's true.
But you know, so I mean, stereotypes, they exist, and there are people that meet them. I guess my question is, how many people out there are think that they have to act like the stereotype because they don't have any other good role models? And that was certainly truer for older folks like me. I mean, you know, what was the only gay people on TV were
Paul Lynn.
yeah, Paul Lynn and Charles Nelson Riley,
Yeah, well, true.
Snagglepuss. I mean, other than
there's certainly something there that's generational because what's silverdaddies.com if you guys are any of you guys are on there.
Don't tell everyone.
What's your profile?
I'll give you my profile number later.
If you look on there, there's looking at any other site, I don't see as many like guys in their 60s and 70s that are into cross-dressing. You know, and it's only guys like in their 60s and 70s that I see it. So there's definitely something there that's generational. That just that's sort of what gay dudes did. So that's what people of that generation learned, and you don't see it much in anybody like 50s, 40s, and below.
And the youngers, yeah.
Are you talking about dressing or the accent?
I'm talking about cross-dressing.
Cross-dressing.
Just stuff that's sort of like people assume that okay, I'm gay and I'm supposed to act this way. If it's more of a learned behavior, then.
I don't know. I've had examples of both. I had an ex who was an exact twin, and one was straight and didn't have the gay accent, and the other one was gay and had the gay accent. So,
well,
he said he'd always talked that way.
We got in this discussion one night at a bar, and Disney, growing up as a kid, all the villains had the very rich English accent, so they were just over the top, but interesting that they would always be like these very gay-sounding, regal English characters. Just drawing out the words and everything was dramatic. They were the villains. And, of course, the hero is this, I'm the hero, and
with the short, the S's stop quickly. Hello, I am, instead of hello.
Oh, I forgot about my other gay role model, Mr. Smith from Lost in Space.
Oh my God.
Will.
I just wanted Will to turn
you?
around and slap him one.
Kick
He
him
never
in the
did.
nuts.
We have 5 gay minutes left.
We have 5 gay minutes as opposed to the straight minutes.
Yes, exactly.
Those are some gay minutes.
Tim, come on. There's one Oreo left. Who wants it?
I just took one. I'm not going to.
Who wants the last Oreo?
By the way, Oreos props. By the way,
Props.
love you, mean it.
Oreos.
Props for Oreos.
Yeah, no, that's some gay stuff. The Pride ad
Stuff in the middle.
for Oreo, they had the different colors of the rainbow. And
Well, I'm on a boycott.
you're going to shove it in your gullet.
Did anybody see what Stephen Colbert did after the whole Oreo thing?
And I wish.
Oh, it was. Look it up online. I mean, I couldn't paraphrase it, but it was hilarious. Stephen Colbert, Oreos, look it up.
We'll have to get a link to
Okay.
that.
We'll put a link to it on the website
Put a link
and on
on
the
it.
Facebook page.
We're going to have lots of links.
Links are good.
Well, who would? I mean,
They're good for breakfast.
okay. First of all, who's going to boycott an Oreo? They're delicious,
Right.
and it says on the box right here, Milk's favorite cookie. So
If they gave one stinking dollar to anything anti-gay, I still wouldn't boycott them. They're too good. Like In-N-Out.
What?
In-N-Out Burger?
Well, I
you know, they have.
Chick-fil-A. I'm not going to give my money to them.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
they can suck it.
Their chicken breakfast sandwich.
Never mind that I'm a
really good.
vegetarian. We're going to forget about that part.
So it's not hard for you.
Whoops.
You had to bring that up again.
Whoops. Are Oreos considered vegan? Oh.
Well, he's not.
I'm not vegan.
He's vegetarian.
Oh, you're vegetarian.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Got it. Okay,
Sorry,
backpedaling.
I'm true
Next.
You can eat ovums.
Well, nice to just lump them all together, the vegans and the vegetarians. My
And
God,
Oreos.
Ben.
Yeah.
Who invited him as a guest? Oh, wait, it was me.
Right.
It was me. My bad.
Well, we were talking earlier about the whole website, 1 million moms or 1,100,000,000 women that can't count.
27.
Yeah. And
Million moms march with 30 women.
there's a lot. But, you guys are saying they had a big gripe and a big voice in the whole gay boycott of Oreos or something.
It was
Was that
ridiculous.
another topic?
Yeah,
Am I
that's the
remembering this
that's
correctly?
We're bringing it up now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gay stuff.
Gay
It's
stuff.
gay stuff.
gay stuff. Oreos are now gay. They came out Pride.
Look, if we're talking
Awesome.
about it,
Rainbow.
anything that we talk about, no matter what,
Got to be gay.
is gay stuff.
Ah, I see.
You go pee, it's gay stuff.
It's yellow fakey gay
Mitt
stuff.
Romney.
Mitt
Gay
Romney.
stuff.
Yeah, I just don't want him to be.
No, Mitt creeps me out.
Ugh.
Like, he creeps me out. Like, I know he's Mormon, but he was one of the men at church
He's
that
your
I would
people.
just run from. Like, you could see him come down the hallway, and you're never sure he was going to, like, give you a noogie or be rude to you or suddenly your best fake friend. And
Or
I
put
just,
your dog on their roof of their car.
that, too.
Or play basketball and eat green jello.
Possibly. Yes,
Wait,
with cottage cheese in it and pineapple.
Awesome.
Lime jello.
Got-
Great.
Okay, I missed something.
This
Yeah.
is Mormon stuff.
Yeah, and I
I'm
don't
not
know
Mormon,
him.
I just know about it.
I don't know him. I'm sure he could be a nice guy. I'm just...
I want to back up a step. What the fuck is this about Mormons and green jello?
It's the Jello salad. It's the Mormon dish. Like, you take orange Jello and you shave carrots into it, and you could put mandarin oranges in there. It's so
While
good.
you're playing basketball.
Before you play basketball. But
have
you
the
can,
green
once
Jell-O.
it's set, you can carry it because it jiggles as you wiggle, and then you can eat it.
And then you wear your magic underwear.
Yes, and I would like to say, as a child growing up folding those things, they do not fold.
Ah,
I don't even know what they look like.
It's like
the garments.
The garments, you just kind of drape it over your hand in half, and then you do another half, and you just kind of fold it into it like half and half and half until it makes a little flat thing.
Is it like
So-
a really just robust loincloth or what?
No, it's like shears, curtain
It's very-
shears,
Do you
and then
go-
cut into like a jumper.
It's zippered.
With
It's
different-
designed to remind you of your, not vows, but promises.
Yeah, and there's little symbols on there I didn't really realize as a kid, but now looking back, the little different stitches on it were, not symmetrical. But yeah, I mean, you have to go on your mission, and then you have to go into the temple and do all these, like you're saying, vows and commitments, and then you get to wear the garments, and they're, kind of a protective gear thing.
And do you go to a separate part of hell if you get a skid mark in your sacred garments?
Yes.
Oh no, I'm due. I could never be a Mormon then.
It's purgatory.
There,
Nice, Clay.
I went on a tour once of the Mormon temple in Oakland.
Before it was consecrated.
No, after it was consecrated, so that you couldn't actually get into the temple.
How the hell did you
but
get in there?
There wasn't actually in the temple, but there's certain sections of it
Yeah.
where you can go in and have a little tour and stuff.
Because I've toured
Grounds.
2 of them before they were consecrated.
So
Oh.
there's this one room that I can't remember if it had any verses or anything, text or anything on the walls, but there's this big, ceiling to floor thing of the universe and all that sort of stuff. And this girl who's giving me and my partner at the time of the tour is talking about it and this and that and the other. And she goes, "So what do you think about how does this make you feel? Just like in this room with this big thing of the universe and everything like that." And I said, "Well, really how it makes me feel, I'm looking at this big thing of the universe. I see, the Milky Way and the galaxy and looking at, okay, here's planet Earth and here's me and, Oakland, California, that's in the United States, that's on Earth, and, so on and so forth. And it just really a reminder of how insignificant that we really are in the greater scheme of things." And she looked at me and just sort of like, "Oh yeah, that's nice," and just kept on with her thing, like, "Wow, thanks for validating anything I said, bitch."
Yeah. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Put a
It's
tip in the jar.
Yeah, kind of threw her for a loop that somebody actually had
Did you see
something
the giant
intelligent to say
oxen
about
holding
it.
up the baptismal?
I have done
No.
baptism for the dead. I earned goth points for that as a kid.
Goth points.
Well,
Absolutely.
You're not only baptizing yourself. I don't know how we got on this topic.
That's right.
But you're baptizing your past family.
Well, you represent. You get a name, and when the kids are lined up in their white clothing, going towards the golden bowl with oxen, it's all gold. You get a name, and you're supposed to think about that name, and then you go down there and get baptized, and you go around like 2-3 times. It was very interesting.
Well, for Tim to revalidate what the Mormon young lady unvalidated, you can go to YouTube and look at the Monty Python Universe song,
Yes.
and that'll
Awesome.
put you right back into it.
Sure.
You're all set.
Another link.
Another
Yeah.
Speaking of gay things,
Well, we had such a good time with some of these topics that we've kind of missed an opportunity, so we'll table our last topic because we're.
What's the last topic
Oh,
again?
let's just talk about it.
Films.
Let's just
Oh,
talk
yeah,
about
If
it.
you've
we can
been
table
on
that.
TV or been in bear films,
Yeah, well, yeah.
let's table
Oh,
that.
all right.
Yeah, we can
Fine,
table that.
whatever.
We'll edit this out. Fuck! Cocksucker! Tourette's.
get it out.
I think that actually staying in.
Yeah, that needs to stay. What I just
in.
said needs to get out.
I'm
Needs
just
to
trying to
stay
figure out
out.
where I'm going to put the Mormon conversation in this.
Well,
Well,
can't this be like the
just let
Oprah after the
It's
show?
it's gay stuff.
So-
Hey,
It's gay
look,
stuff.
I've done a lot of gay stuff with a lot of Mormons. It can stay in.
This
Trust
is
me.
Gay stuff.
gayer stuff.
All right, that works for me.
Woo!
So let's get in the back scratches.
All right,
Backscratches. Ben, we have a little segment where we thank people that have helped us or inspired us or
People we want to thank.
just people you want to thank.
Or are you thinking
Give
of
them a back scratch.
maybe somebody's having a bad time, or
Oh, got all deep.
oh, it doesn't have to be deep.
Well, here, I'll go first.
It could be that guy that stuck his crotch in your face in the bus this morning. Huh?
I'd like to give that guy a back scratch. Well, this is Vito. I'd like to give John and Greg a back scratch for their 4th of July party, which was awesome. And I'd like to give a back scratch to Kat. This is Clay and my friend. She's just awesome.
She'll be our first female guest.
Could be.
Woohoo!
We're booked solid. Middle of next year.
Middle of next year.
I also want to give a back scratch to Kenny. We were talking about the internet stuff, his giveforward.com page. We've been able to raise over $2,000. He's got cancer.
Very
It's
nice.
amazing. So you can use the power of the internet for good and bad, right?
Nice.
Also like to give a back scratch to some listeners. Rick H., who sent us an email today
Yeah, that was
about
cute.
snack. Oh, do we have any snack requests for him?
Snack requests.
Oh, he's actually going to ship stuff to us?
Maybe. Peanut
maybe.
brittle.
Surprise us.
There you go. And I'd also like to just real quick go through a list of listeners and backscratch them for leaving comments on Facebook and emails. Sean R. and Seamus sent an email from the Show Bears. I put a link on the website. They're a singing group in the UK. They're really awesome. And I also want to, for a Facebook post, backscratches to Mike W., Christian S., Rob M., Frank J., Anders W., Casey M., and Paul K. I didn't want to do their last names.
How's Anders M doing anyway?
Anders W.
Oh, Anders W.
Okay.
Oh, W.
done.
Forget.
Those are my back scratches.
Who cares?
Happens to be my best friend. Anyway.
Anders W.
Oh, cool.
I do care after all.
Anyway.
Go
is
ahead,
that all
Tim.
you're doing?
Yeah. That's
Okay. Speaking of listeners to thank, I had sent out a shout for the margarita booth that we were doing at Pride, and I actually got a response back from somebody who I know only as PR on Growler and says that he loves the podcast. So wanted to shout out to him.
Awesome.
Also wanted to say thank you to the South Bay Blaze, LC training ride stuff. Been on a ride with them. Been getting out doing like 25, 30-mile rides. So that's been really great.
Wow.
And with all that, I kind of screwed up my back and needed to see my chiropractor. So Tom Wellbrook, thank you as well. And last and not least, wanted to say thank you to my brothers, Matt and Greg. My younger brother, Greg's here in town tonight, and I've actually skipped out on spending some time with him to be here to record tonight. So,
Oh, thanks, Greg. Scratch, scratch, scratch.
yeah. So,
Is he cute?
Are we
Contain
meeting him after?
yourself, Clay.
lots of people would think so.
Okay.
So,
That's
Yeah.
very
Are
diplomatic.
you the only gay one?
yes, I'm the only gay one. I'm the middle. I've got an older and a younger. So, yeah,
Brother or sister or older, younger gay?
2 brothers.
Got it.
Wow.
And yeah, lots of people look at that. I look a whole lot like my older brother. So I get a lot of comments of like, oh, people wanting to have a 3-way with me and my older brother. Like, no thanks.
No.
No.
Incest is best when kept in the family.
No thanks.
Well, cool. Well, this is Clay, and other than my standard back scratch to my partner Bill, who puts up with all my shenanigans, I'd like to back scratch Miss Scarlett, who's not under blanket. Scarlett, where are you? Come
Right
here.
behind you.
Come here. Big jump up here. Come here. Up here. Scarlett, come here. Up here. Tell who you gonna back scratch. Tell him. Tell him.
Oh, that was
Well,
loud.
I guess that's a back scratch for everybody from Miss Scarlett.
Sorry,
and then,
ears.
A thigh scratch to Ben, who's sitting next
Yes,
to me. Thank you
big
for
back
being our
scratch to
guest.
Ben for being our guest. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yay!
Big back scratch to you guys for having me. It's fabulous fun. It's a good time. Yeah, I guess my back scratches, I wasn't prepared for this. I would have wrote down a list or something. Back scratch to the boys from Squirrel here in San Francisco.
It was in his email inviting him here, but never mind.
Was it?
Yeah,
Oh,
totally.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I didn't even get to the address.
Here, let me back scratch myself.
Right. You did good. But yeah, back scratch out to the Squirrel Boys, club that I throw with them out here. We keep each other crazy and excited and artistically challenged. Scratches go out to all the drag sisters out here: Glitterella, Peaches, Heclina, Cookie Dough, Spaz. Big back scratches out to the Shea Cayuga house and keeping me in line and making sure I wake up every day when my alarm doesn't go off. And last but not least, I guess the back scratch to the Astro Pups camp that I'll be camping with at Burning Man this year for the first time.
I
Yeah.
was going to do that.
Yeah, I was actually supposed to be in a meeting tonight, and I skipped out on my meeting to be here.
Well, thank you.
So, a little promotional opportunity. Go Astro Pups.
Go Astro
Absolutely.
Pups.
We'll put them on the website.
Awesome.
Wolfgang?
Thank you.
Back scratches?
Got a couple here. Let's see. I'd like to give a big back scratch to my friends Tom and Jeb, who sadly recently lost their pet cat, Buster. Oh. So big back scratches to all you guys.
Hugs too.
Yeah, definitely hugs too. I'd like to thank. Words got weird in my mouth. I'd like to thank my friend Jesus for buying my motorcycle, and finally, I'd like to give a big a big thank you to Teresa at Mission Motors for being a great saleswoman. Thank you.
We'll see.
All
Well,
right,
yeah, Vito still needs to do the whole financing thing or negotiations.
Negotiate.
All right.
Priceline Negotiator is dead. Poor guy.
But we created the Christwire negotiator, so maybe he can help. Or she. I don't know.
Is that a wrap?
Yeah, I
That's
think
it.
it's a wrap.
All
That
right,
is
check
a
us
wrap.
out, guys. BearElement.com and Facebook, The Bear Element.
Absolutely. And you know what? We need more comments on iTunes also.
Yeah.
We have
Yes.
one.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Subscribe.
Tip your waiter.
All right.
Are you going to be here all night?
Bye.
Bye.
Visit us at bearelement.com.